Before the world called him Muhammad Ali, his name was Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr. He was born in 1942 in Louisville, Kentucky, a city divided by race, fear, and silence. From a very young age, Cassius saw injustice everywhere. Black people had to sit at the back of buses. They were refused service in restaurants. Their voices were ignored. But Cassius was different. When he was 12 years old, someone stole his bicycle. Angry and emotional, he went to the police. There, he met a boxing trainer named Joe Martin. Martin told him, "If you want to fight, learn how to box." That moment changed his life. Cassius trained every day. He was fast, loud, confident, and fearless. He talked more than other boxers. He joked, he rhymed, he predicted his victories. Many people hated this. In boxing, athletes were expected to be quiet and respectful. Cassius refused. He said what he thought. He said what others were afraid to say. People laughed at him. They called him arrogant. They said he was too proud. But Cassius believed something deeply. If you believe in yourself, you must speak it out loud. As his skills grew, so did the pressure. The media watched him closely. White America felt uncomfortable with his confidence. A young black man speaking boldly was seen as dangerous. Still, Cassius did not slow down. In 1960, he won a gold medal at the Olympics. The world praised him, but only for a moment. When he returned home, racism was still there. Fame did not protect him. This was his first painful lesson. Success does not erase injustice. Instead of becoming silent, Cassius became louder. He started to understand that boxing was not only about fists. It was about identity, pride, and power. Every fight was more than a sport. It was a statement. Soon, he would face a choice that would change everything. A choice that would make millions hate him. A choice that would cost him his career. But also, a choice that would change the world. After the Olympic victory, Cassius Clay became a national name. But fame did not bring peace. It brought attention, pressure, and enemies. Clay spoke loudly. He smiled confidently. He said, "I am the greatest," even before proving it. Many people were angry. They were not used to a black athlete who did not apologize. They wanted him to be humble, quiet, grateful. Cassius refused. In 1964, he fought Sonny Liston, the heavyweight champion of the world. Liston was feared, strong, silent, dangerous. Most people believed Clay would lose. Before the fight, Clay talked nonstop. He joked. He shouted. He said Liston would fall in the 6th round. The media mocked him. Fans booed him. Some even wished he would be hurt. But then, the impossible happened. Sonny Liston quit. Cassius Clay became world champion. The crowd was shocked. The same people who laughed were now silent. But the real shock came after. Cassius Clay stood in front of the cameras and said, "My name is Muhammad Ali." He explained that he had joined the Nation of Islam. He rejected his old name, calling it a slave name. He said he would not accept an identity given by others. This decision changed everything. Many Americans felt betrayed. They saw Islam as dangerous. They saw Ali as rebellious. Some newspapers called him a traitor. Sponsors left him. Friends turned away. The love disappeared. Ali understood something painful. People love you when you entertain them. They hate you when you challenge them. Still, he did not step back. He believed that silence was worse than hatred. That living without principles was worse than losing popularity. Ali was no longer just a boxer. He became a symbol. For some, he was a hero. For others, he was a problem. But the biggest test was still coming. A test that would take everything from him. His title, his money, and his freedom. And this time, words alone would not save him. In 1967, the United States was deeply involved in the Vietnam War. Young men were sent far from home to fight and die. The government expected obedience. Muhammad Ali received a letter. It was a draft notice. He was ordered to join the army. For many athletes, this would be simple. They would go. They would return as heroes. Ali chose another path. He stood in front of the world and said, "I will not fight in Vietnam." His reason was clear and personal. He said the war went against his religious beliefs. He also said something that shocked the nation. "I have no quarrel with the Viet Cong. No Vietnamese ever call me a racial slur." Those words exploded across America. Some people understood him. Many did not. Politicians were angry. TV hosts attacked him. Fans burned his photos. They called him coward, traitor, enemy of the nation. Ali did not shout back. He did not apologize. When he arrived at the Army Induction Center, he refused to step forward. Again and again, his name was called. Ali stayed still. That moment changed his life. He was arrested. He was found guilty of draft evasion. The punishment was heavy. His boxing license was taken away. His world title was removed. He faced 5 years in prison. Ali was 25 years old, at the peak of his career. Everything he worked for was gone in one decision. Money stopped coming. Training halls closed their doors. Many friends disappeared. For more than 3 years, Ali could not box. But he did not disappear. Instead, he spoke. He traveled across the country. He stood in universities and small halls. He talked about war, race, faith, and justice. He was calm, clear, strong. Slowly, something changed. The war became more unpopular. People started to question the government. Ali's words no longer sounded crazy. They sounded honest. Suffering shaped him. Silence made him deeper. Loss taught him patience. Ali lost his title, but he found his voice. And soon, the world would hear it again. Because one day, the Supreme Court would speak. And when it did, Ali would rise. In 1971, after years of silence and struggle, the truth finally came out. The Supreme Court of the United States reviewed Muhammad Ali's case. The judges looked at the facts. They listened to the arguments. They read the law carefully. Then the decision was made. The court ruled in Ali's favor. His conviction was overturned. Muhammad Ali was free. No prison, no criminal record. But freedom did not mean everything was easy again. Ali had been away from boxing for more than 3 years. His body was older. His reflexes were slower. The boxing world had moved on. New champions had risen. Many people doubted him. They asked, is he still fast? Is he still strong? Is he finished? Ali heard the doubts. He accepted them. And then he went back to work. Training was painful. His legs burned. His lungs struggled. Every punch reminded him of lost time. But Ali had something new now. He was not just fighting for titles. He was fighting for meaning. When he returned to the ring, the crowd was different. Some still booed him. Others stood up and cheered. Ali smiled. He was used to both. His first big challenge was Joe Frazier. Frazier was strong, aggressive, and respected. The fight was called the fight of the century. Ali lost. It hurt. Not just his body, his pride too. Many said, that's it. Ali is done. But Ali did not run away from failure. He faced it. He trained harder. He spoke less. He focused more. The pain changed him. He became more patient, more strategic, less playful, more serious. Ali learned that courage is not only loud words. Sometimes, courage is quiet work. Fight after fight, he climbed back. Each one was not perfect. Each round was a lesson. He was no longer the young man who danced and joked. He was a man who had suffered and survived. And soon, one more chance would come. A chance not just to win a fight, but to change history forever. Because the world was waiting. And Muhammad Ali was not finished yet. In 1974, the boxing world was sure about one thing. Muhammad Ali could not win. His opponent was George Foreman. Foreman was young. Foreman was powerful. Foreman destroyed his opponents in only a few rounds. People said he was unbeatable. Ali, on the other hand, was older, slower, less explosive. The fight was planned in Zaire, Africa. It was called the Rumble in the Jungle. Many experts believed it would be quick, very quick. They thought Foreman would knock Ali out. Ali heard all of this. He smiled, because Ali had a plan. But it was not about power. It was about intelligence. Before the fight, Ali spoke to the people of Africa. He walked through the streets. He talked, laughed, and connected with them. The crowd loved him. They shouted, Ali Bome. Ali kill him. Foreman felt alone. Ali felt strong. When the fight began, something strange happened. Ali did not run. Ali did not dance. He leaned against the ropes. He let Foreman punch him. Again, and again, and again. People were shocked. Commentators said, what is Ali doing? Is he tired? Is he making a mistake? But Ali was calm. He protected his face. He controlled his breathing. Foreman punched with all his power. Each punch used energy. Each round made Foreman slower. Ali whispered to him, "Is that all you got, George?" Foreman became angry. He punched harder. He punched faster. And he became tired. This strategy later became famous. It was called the rope-a-dope. Ali was not escaping danger. He was using it. By the 8th round, Foreman was exhausted. His arms were heavy. His legs weak. Ali felt it. He stepped forward. For the first time in the fight, Ali attacked. Fast punches. Sharp movements. Perfect timing. Foreman fell. The referee counted. The crowd exploded. Muhammad Ali had won. The impossible had happened. Ali stood there, champion again. Not because he was the strongest, but because he was the smartest. That night, Ali proved something important. Strength alone is not enough. Sometimes, patience beats power. Sometimes, the mind defeats the body. Muhammad Ali was no longer just a boxer. He was a symbol, a man who fell, a man who waited, a man who rose again. And the world would never forget that night in Africa. After the victory in Africa, Muhammad Ali was champion again. But something had changed. He was no longer fighting only in the ring. He was fighting in people's minds. Around the world, his name became bigger than boxing. Ali was invited to interviews, events, and television shows. People wanted to hear him speak, not about punches, but about life. Ali talked about justice, about freedom, about dignity. Some people admired him. Others were uncomfortable. Because Ali did not speak softly. He spoke directly. He said, "I am not afraid to be unpopular." This honesty made him powerful, but also made his life harder. Being a global icon is not easy. Every word is watched. Every mistake is judged. Ali felt this pressure. Sometimes he was tired, sometimes angry, sometimes lonely, but he never stopped being himself. He believed that silence could be a form of betrayal. Ali said, "If I know the truth, I must say it." Dix attitudes inspiraient de millions. Young people saw him as a hero. Black communities saw him as a voice. Athletes saw him as a leader. Ali showed that a sportsman could be more than entertainment. He could be a message. But success has a cost. The more famous Ali became, the less private his life was. He could not walk freely. He could not rest in peace. People wanted his time, his energy, his opinion. And Ali gave it, again and again. He smiled in public. But inside, the pressure was growing. Still, Ali continued to fight. Not always with his fists. Sometimes with words. Sometimes with patience. He understood something important. Real courage is not only physical. It is emotional. It is mental. Ali accepted the weight of his role. He did not run from responsibility. He carried it. And because of that, he became more than a champion. He became a symbol of resistance. A man who stood tall, even when the world pushed him down. But another challenge was coming. A silent one. One that could not be punched. And it would change his life forever. In the late years of his boxing career, something felt wrong. Muhammad Ali noticed small changes. His hand shook sometimes. His movements were slower. His voice was softer. At first, people thought it was only age. But Ali knew his body was sending signals. After retiring from boxing, the truth became clear. Doctors diagnosed him with Parkinson's disease. It was a shock. This was not an enemy in the ring. There was no bell, no referee, no knockout, just a slow, quiet battle. For a man who was famous for speed and power, this illness felt cruel. Many people expected Ali to disappear, to stay silent, to hide. But Ali did the opposite. He showed the world his weakness. He did not pretend to be strong all the time. His hands shook in public. His speech was difficult. Still, he stood on stages. Still, he traveled. Still, he spoke, even when words were hard. This honesty touched people deeply. They saw a different kind of strength. Not the strength of muscles, but the strength of acceptance. Ali once said, "I have learned to live with my condition." He did not ask, "Why me?" He asked, "How can I live with this?" Parkinson's disease took his speed. It took his voice, but it did not take his spirit. Ali continued charity work. He helped sick children. He supported peace missions. When people saw him, they did not see weakness. They saw courage. A man who fought his hardest fight without throwing a single punch. Ali showed that dignity does not disappear with illness, that greatness is not only in winning. Sometimes greatness is in enduring. The world respected him even more because this fight was real and it was human. But Ali's story was not over yet. One final moment would come, a moment that would silence the world and remind everyone who Muhammad Ali truly was. In 1996, the world watched something unforgettable. The Olympic Games were held in Atlanta. The stadium was full. Millions were watching on television. Then, one man appeared, Muhammad Ali. He walked slowly. His hands were shaking. His face showed years of struggle, but his eyes were calm, strong. Ali was chosen to light the Olympic flame. It was more than a ceremony. It was a message. When Ali held the torch, the stadium became silent. People did not cheer. They did not speak. They watched. Every movement was difficult. The flame shook in his hands. But he did not stop. He lifted the torch, and he lit the fire. In that moment, the world understood something deep. This was not about sports. It was about human strength. A man who once moved like lightning now moved slowly. But his courage was greater than ever. Many people cried. They saw pain. They saw dignity. They saw history. Ali did not say a word. He did not need to. His presence spoke louder than any speech. That moment changed how people remembered him, not only as a boxer, not only as a champion, but as a symbol of resilience. Ali showed that life is not about staying powerful forever. It is about standing tall when power fades. After that night, Ali became untouchable. Critics became silent. Enemies became respectful. The world finally understood his journey. From a young, loud fighter to a quiet, powerful legend, the Olympic flame burned. And with it, Ali's legacy burned brighter than ever. But the final lesson of his life was still ahead. A lesson about how a man is remembered, not for what he took from the world, but for what he gave. As the years passed, Muhammad Ali became quieter. His body grew weaker. His voice faded, but his presence remained powerful. People from all over the world came to see him. Athletes, politicians, artists, ordinary people. They did not come to see a boxer. They came to see a symbol. Ali represented courage. He showed that standing for your beliefs can change history, even when it costs everything. Young athletes learned from him, not only how to fight, but how to speak, how to refuse injustice, how to stay human under pressure. Ali's life taught an important lesson. Success is not only about talent. It is about values. When he refused to fight in the war, he lost his title. But he kept his soul. Years later, the world admitted he was right. Streets were named after him. Awards were given to him. Countries honored him. What was once seen as rebellion became wisdom. Ali also changed sports culture. Before him, athletes were expected to stay silent. Ali broke that rule. He spoke openly about race, faith, and dignity. Today, many athletes use their voice. That door was opened by Ali. Even people who never watched boxing knew his name. Because Ali stood for more than punches. He stood for principle. In his later years, he smiled quietly. He knew his story was complete. Not perfect, but honest. When people looked at him, they saw hope. Hope that one person can make a difference. Hope that bravery matters. Ali's body slowed down, but his ideas moved faster than ever. They traveled through time, through generations, and they continue to inspire. But every story must end. And Ali's final goodbye would remind the world once more why he was different. On June 3, 2016, the world stopped. Muhammad Ali passed away. News spread quickly. People did not say, "A boxer has died." They said, "A legend is gone." From small villages to big cities, people remembered him. Messages came from every country. Leaders spoke. Athletes cried. Fans shared stories. Ali's funeral was watched by millions. But it was not full of sadness. It was full of respect. People celebrated his life. They spoke about his courage, his voice, his sacrifice. Ali was not perfect. He made mistakes. He spoke loudly. Sometimes he made people angry, but he never betrayed himself. That is why people trusted him. Ali taught the world a powerful lesson. Greatness is not about being loved. It is about being true. He lost titles. He lost years of his career. He lost his health. But he gained something bigger: respect. Ali showed that silence is easy, but speaking is brave. He showed that fear can control people, but principles can free them. In the end, Ali was not remembered for how hard he hit others. He was remembered for how hard he stood for his beliefs. His life proved one thing: you can fall, you can be hated, you can be punished, but if you stay honest, you can rise again, stronger. Muhammad Ali once said, "He who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in life." He lived by those words. And because of that, his name will never fade. Not in boxing, not in history, not in the hearts of people. The end. Dove.